Ollie got a call from a very strange man. He asked Ollie to come down to his magic shop. I was a little surprised because he didn't realize there were any magic shops in Baltimore. But he went down there anyway. And when he got there, he realized that he'd somewhat misunderstood. He thought that that magic shop was going to have, magic tricks. Cards and trick coins and strings and nitrocellulose paper, that kind of a thing. But no, this was magic. Like actual magic. Well, I walked in, and the guy that owned the voice that had talked to him on the phone was dressed in this long blue robe with stars. And I don't mean like cloth stars sewn on there. It looked like it had real stars that twinkled and seemed like they were millions of miles away, even though they were right there on the coat. And there were lots of other strange and fantastical things in the store. So just stop that. There was a crystal ball that didn't look like much, but then when you got very close, it started to show you things, terrible things. Wonderful things, all kinds of strange things. And the guy said, "Oh, thank you for coming." I said, "Yeah, sure, happy to help. What can I do for you?" "Ollie, I'm a very busy man." I said, "Okay." I said, "I've got to run a business, and I've got to do all this magic stuff, and I need to study more and find magic things to do. There's a lot that I have to do, and so I need you to help with something that's happened." I said, "All right." He said, "Someone has stolen my magic door." I said, "Oh my." And that's when all I noticed, there was a door frame, well, a hole in the wall, I guess I should say, that the rest of the place was very nicely appointed. It was clean. The trim was up. It was painted. There was a nice carpet down. It was well taken care of. But there's this one door that there just wasn't a door in it. There was no trim around the door. It was just this rough sort of hole cut into the wall. So I said, "I guess it must have been there." And the wizard said, yeah, that's where it was, yes. "It's a very special door. And, well, because it is a door, it's kind of the last thing I expected to be stolen." I said, "All right, well, what does it do?" He said, "Well, all you need to do is focus very hard on a place you'd like to be, and then turn the handle and open the door, and the door will lead to that place, wherever it is. It's quite a powerful enchantment. I usually keep it locked. It's not really something that's for sale. I just have it here in the store. It's a very convenient way to travel, you see. And then when you get there, assuming you have the key in your hand or in your pocket, when you return to the door, it'll take you back to wherever you came from. So as you can imagine, it's a very useful bit of magic." I said, "Yeah, that would be." He said, "But someone's stolen it. The key and all. And, well, I don't think there's only a handful of people that it could be, but I don't have time to track after them. So I'd like you to." I said, "Okay, so who are they?" So, well, they're my employees, and then I had just one customer yesterday. So I'll give you their names, and you can check them down. I said, "All right, seems straightforward enough." So the wizard gave all the names and numbers of the two employees. Two employees and one customer. The first employee was named Sam, and he lived down in Pigtown. So I paid a visit to him first. First he climbed up and looked in the windows to see if he could see anything, if he could see pieces of a door or a door already put up somewhere. He'd gotten a description of the door. It was somewhat unusual. The trim was purple, with sort of silver edging, a dark purple. The hinges were a bright polished brass, as was the handle, and the door mechanism, the strike and everything. And then the door itself was that same purple, again trimmed in silver. So a very mysterious looking door and very, charismatic looking. I looked all around the house, this person Sam's address, that he could from inside anyway, and didn't see any kind of a door like that. So he knocked. And Sam answered. And she said, "Oh, hello. What can I do for you?" I said, "Hi. Are you Sam?" She said, "Yeah, I'm Sam. What's up?" I said, "Hi, I'm Ollie the Octopus. I'm investigating a theft." She said, Oh my. What's been stolen?" "A door from your employer." I said, "Oh. Then not the magical door, I hope." I said, "Just the one." I said, "Oh no. That could be really dangerous in the wrong hands." "Well, I'm afraid I don't know anything about it. We closed up kind of early yesterday because, well, there weren't very many customers. And so I finished up some projects that I was doing, and I headed home about 3 o'clock. And, well, I know that when I left, the door was still there because I always like to look at the door. It's such a pretty purple. And, yeah, it was still there when I left." I said, "All right, do you mind if I take a look around the house? Just as a precaution, just due diligence." She said, "Oh, yes, that'd be fine. Sure, whatever." So I looked all around the house, up and down, attics, basements, closets, and there was no door. Wouldn't be an easy thing to hide. So I thanked Sam for her time and went on his way. The next place on his visit was the customer. His name was Don Winkles. Don lived over in Penn Lucy. When Ollie looked in those windows, though, he saw the door. It's on the upper floor, and it had been put in a closet. It was unmistakable, though, with the purple trim, and the gold, silver trim, and the purple bulk of it, and the shiny brass handles. But of course, Ollie didn't have a way to uninstall a door all by himself, so he was going to have to get help. So he called up some friends of his that were contractors, and he said, "Hey, I need your help to come and take this door and this frame out of this house. The person stole those things, and the owner wants them back badly." I said, "All right, that's a little weird, but okay, how are we going to get in?" I said, "Yeah, you leave that to me." I knocked on the door and said, "Don, I need you to show me your proof of purchase for that door. I'm a private investigator, and you're under suspicion of theft." He said, "I don't know what you're talking about. What door?" I said, "The purple door. The purple door from the magic shop. I've seen it. I know exactly where it is." I said, "I don't know what you're talking about. You go away." I tried to close the door, and I put his tentacle in the door and said, "That's not how this plays. You're either going to show me a proof of purchase for the door, or we're going to take the door with us. That is, of course, unless you want me to get the police involved." And the guy grumbled. He said, "Yeah, I don't need to get the police involved." And then, all of a sudden, the guy, Don, he just ran. He ran straight upstairs, and I tried to run after him. Before I could get to him, the guy opened the door, ran through, and closed it behind him. And I could see that he had taken the key with him. But Don made a small error, because he didn't lock it behind him. So Ollie opened the door. He could see some strange settings there. He waved his contractors in. He said, "Here's what I want you to do, guys. I'm going to go through this door. It's a magical door. I should have mentioned that. I'm going to go through this door, and I'm going to catch the thief. I want you to take the door and the frame, take all of it out carefully. It's a very expensive door and very expensive frame. Pack it up and take it back to this address and put it back in where the guy tells you to. I said, okay, that's pretty weird, but whatever makes you happy, Ollie. Then Ollie sent a text to the wizard and said, all right, the doors are going to be coming your way very soon. So Ollie went to the door, closed it, and he found himself in a strange, strange place. He was pretty sure, in fact, that he wasn't even on Earth anymore. He looked around, and then he was sure, because he could see the Earth. Ollie was somehow on the moon. Now, Ollie was not aware that there was a place on the moon that a person could go without a spacesuit, but apparently there was, because there he was, a habitat there on the moon. I wasn't really sure how this door thief would have gotten there. I was looking around, trying to see where the door thief would have gone, when he heard a sound behind him, and the door through which he'd come turned all gray and weird. And he went to go and try the doorknob, and it didn't move. He thought, they must have taken the door down. Well, I said, now my only way back home is to catch this guy. He looked around, and he noticed that where he was in this habitat on the moon, it was a dirt floor. So he squinted and looked carefully, and then he saw it. Footsteps in the dirt. Footsteps at the distance of a running pace. So he started to follow them. And he went as fast as he could. It's a little harder on the moon to go fast. But there, actually, Ollie had something of an advantage over a human because he has 8 legs to work with. And he could kind of use the walls to pull himself along faster, whereas a human would have to just kind of run and deal with the fact that they couldn't run very fast. And indeed, after a minute or two, Ollie could tell he was catching up. He could hear the sound of someone going footsteps on the moon. And as Ollie came around a corner, he saw that same person running as fast as he can, which is on the moon, not very fast. Ollie judged the distance. He sort of stretched himself out, and then in one big motion, flung himself as hard as he could down the corridor. And it worked. He was moving fast. He was moving much faster than the running person. And he turned himself around, and he kind of got a little bit off to the side because, well, he doesn't every day fling himself around on the moon. But nonetheless, with a glancing blow, he hit the guy. It meant to hit him straight on, grab him with all of his tentacles, but instead he hit him with just 2 tentacles, so Ollie kind of swung around. And the guy was very startled to have that happen. He said, and Ollie heard a clink, clink, and a thud as the key bounced off the wall and landed in the dirt. Ollie knew he had to prioritize, so he swung down off the guy's shoulder and grabbed the key. I said, all right, what's going on here? Who are you and why you? How'd you get us to the moon? The guy said, you don't even know what you're messing with. That old wizard, he's been hoarding all the good stuff. Well, now it's mine. I said, I'm not sure it is. He held up the key. I said, hey, you've got to get that back. That's mine. I said, no, I really don't think it is. I think that belongs to a wizard. And that wizard is paying me to get it back. The guy dove at him, and Ollie jumped. He sort of overshot the jump because, once again, moon gravity. But the guy also overshot his dive. And they had a very slow motion fight there in these tunnels on the moon. It was hard. Ollie's pretty good in a fight when he has to be, but he doesn't really like to be in a fight. And everything was weird here. You would go to swing around something and it would take much longer. It was all right, actually, because Ollie was really just stalling. He knew that his contractor guys would go back and put the door back in and that it would be a pretty quick job, but that it would still be a good half an hour before the key would work, before the door would open again. So he let the guy, this Don, guy wear himself out in a slow motion moon fight. Ollie wasn't trying to hurt him. Ollie was just kind of defending himself and keeping the guy away. And then he heard after a little while, he heard a click. And Ollie started scampering down the hallway as fast as he could in the low moon gravity. It took the guy Don a minute or two to realize what was going on. Or not a minute or two, but a few seconds. By the time he realized that Ollie was heading back down toward the door, Don had to get himself, clamber back onto his feet, and start running after him. Ollie had a big lead. As Ollie turned the corner and turned the corner and turned the corner once again, he could see the door, and it was bright purple again with a silver lining. So Ollie darted through it, opened the door, and there he was in the wizard's shop again. They said, "Ollie, there you are. You've done it. You've done it. What's going on? Why are you?" And Ollie shut the door. And Ollie then, holding the key in his hand, thought really, really, really hard about. He had to think of something. Where did he want to go? Ollie thought really, really hard about Hawaii, the beach. Then he opened the door, and there, it was a beach. Ollie closed the door again. We said, "What did you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm not sure why your customer and your thief wanted to go to the moon, but he's going to have to figure out his own way back." And the wizard started laughing, and the contractors started laughing too, although no one had really explained to him how this crazy door thing worked. They just said, well, that was dastardly of you, Ollie, but that'll teach him to steal from a wizard. And that was the story of Ollie and the magic door.